Monday.
till Tuesday maybe.
You have for Govardhan Puj? On the 14th. It's Tuesday. Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Yasodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Yasodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava. Jaya Kunja Bihari. Gopidana Balaba Grivadari Jaya Grivadari. Gopidana Balaba Grivadari Jaya Grivadari. Yasodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda. Yasodanandana Prahladananda Jaya Prahladananda. Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Yamuna Tiravarachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravarakacharya Asidhara Situshi Shiman His Divine Grace Shalasi Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Raj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Gaur Premanande Haribol Slava Zabrani Bhaktam Slava Shri Guru Shri Grangi Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhute Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Tenamane Namaste Saraswatunde Ve Gauravani Vicharane nirvishesha shrunivadi paskatyade siddharne. Om Agyanatavinandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chaksurumilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Scha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vidham Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakans Vidhamscha Hey Krishna Karna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Prishubhanu Sutta Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakapa Trivyascha Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Pranitinanda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 8. Lord Krishna shows the universal form, text 46. Shri Rajo Vacha Nanda Kim Akarod Brahman Shreya Eva Mahodayam Yashoda Cha Mahabhaga Papo Yasya Stanam Hari Shri Rajo Vacha Nanda Kim Akarod Brahman Shreya Eva Mahodayam Yashoda Cha Mahabhaga Papo Yasya Stanam Hari. Vacha Nandakima Karo Brahman Sayanvaya Mahodvaram Yashoda Cha Mahabhaga Papo Yasya Stanam Hari. Shri Rajo Vacha Nandakima Karo Brahman Sayanvaya Mahodvayam Yashoda Cha Mahabhaga Papo Yasya Stanam Hari. Ladies. Shri Rajo Vacha Nanda Kema Karod Brahman Shreya Eva Mahodayam Yasoda Cha Mahabhaga Papo Yasya Stanam Hari. Shri Raja Avacha. Maharaj Parikshit further inquired from Shukadeva Goswami. Nanda, Maharaj Nanda, Kim, what? Akarot, performed. Brahman, O learned Brahmana. Shreya, auspicious activities. like performing penances and austerities. Evam, as exhibited by him, Maha Udayam, from which they achieve the greatest perfection. Jashoda, Mother Jashoda, Cha, also, Mahabhaga, most fortunate, Papo, drank, Yasya, of whom, Stanam, the breast milk, Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Having heard of the great fortune of Mother Jashoda, Parikshit Maharaj inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, O learned Brahmana, Mother Jashoda's breast milk was sucked by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What past auspicious activities did she and Nanda Maharaj perform to achieve such perfection in ecstatic love? Purport. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita 7:16, Chatur vida bhajante mam jana sukritina arjuna. Without sukriti or pious activities, no one can come to the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord is approached by four kinds of pious men. Arto jignasya artarati gyani cha. But here we see that Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda surpassed all of them. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj naturally inquired, what kind of pious activities do they perform in their past lives by which they achieve such a state of perfection? Of course, Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda are accepted as the father and mother of Krishna. Yet Mother Jashoda was more fortunate than Nanda Maharaj. Krishna's father. Because Nanda Maharaj was sometimes separated from Krishna, while Jashoda, Krishna's mother, was not separated from Krishna at any moment. From Krishna's babyhood to his childhood, and from his childhood to his youth, Mother Jashoda was always in association with Krishna. Even when Krishna was grown up, he would go to Vrindavan and sit on the lap of Mother Jashoda. Therefore, there is no comparison to the fortune of Mother Jashoda and Parikshit Maharaj, naturally acquired. Jashoda cha Mahabhaga. Translation, text 47. Although Krishna was so pleased with Vasudeva and Devaki, he descended as their son, they could not enjoy Krishna's magnanimous childhood pastimes, which are so great that simply chanting about them vanquishes the contamination of the material world. Nanda Maharaj and Jashoda, however, enjoyed these pastimes fully, and therefore their position is always better than that of Vasudeva and Devaki. Purport, Krishna actually took birth from the womb of Devaki, but just after his birth he was transferred to the home of Mother Jashoda. Devaki could not have had Krishna suck her breast. Devaki could not even have Krishna suck her breast. Therefore, Parikshit Maharaj was astonished. How had Mother Jashoda and Nanda Maharaj become so fortunate that they enjoyed the complete childhood pastimes of Krishna, which is still more glorified by saintly persons? What had they done in the past by which they were elevated to such an exalted position? Just to note, Krishna did suck on Devaki's breast before Krishna left for Vrindavan. Therefore, when the sons of Devaki were returned by Yamaraj, actually, Krishna had gone to, actually they were in Bali Maharaj's Sutaloka. Krishna went and got the sons of Devaki, who are now in Sutala Loka, and brought them back, and they were little babies. And when they sucked their mother Devaki's breast, then they became fully self-realized souls, because it is said that Krishna had sucked on that same breast, and therefore it was like transcendental nectar, and they all became self-realized. And therefore, this is, I guess, we can take it that Mother Yasoda was constantly feeding Krishna, while Devaki only had one opportunity. So the question is, how did they get such an exalted position? And it'll take us... Shukadeva Goswami said, to follow the orders of Lord Brahma, Drona, the best of Vasus, along with his wife Dara, spoke to Lord Brahma in this way. Purport. As stated in the Brahma Samhita 537, Ananda Chimaya Rasa Pratibhavitabhis Tabirya Eva Nida Rupataya Kalabi Goloka Eva Nivasatya Kilatma Bhuto Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. When Krishna descends anywhere, he is accompanied by his own associates. These associates are not ordinary beings. Krishna's pastimes are eternal. And when he descends, he comes with his associates. Therefore, Nandamara and Mother Yasoda are the eternal father and mother of Krishna. This means that whenever Krishna descends, Nanda and Yashoda, as well as Vasudeva and Devaki, also descend as Krishna's father and mother. Their personalities are expansions of Krishna's personal body. They're not ordinary living beings. Maharaj Parikshit knew this, but he was curious to know from Shukadeva Goswami whether it is possible for an ordinary human being to become to the stage by sadhana siddhi. There are two kinds of perfection, Nitya Siddha and Sadhana Siddha. Nitya Siddha is one who is eternally Krishna's associate, an expansion of Krishna's personal body. Whereas the Sadhana Siddha is an ordinary human being who, by executing pious activities and following regular principles of devotional service, also comes to that stage. Thus the purpose of Maharaj Parikshit's inquiry was to determine whether an ordinary human being can attain the position of Mother Yasoda and Nanda Maharaj. Shukadeva Goswami answered this question as follows. Drona and Dara said, please permit us to be born on this planet, Earth, so that after our appearance, the Supreme Lord, the Personality of Godhead, the Supreme Controller, and Master of all planets, will also appear and spread devotional service. The ultimate goal of life, so that those born in this material world may very easily be delivered from the miserable conditions of materialistic life by accepting this devotional service. Purport. This statement by Drona clearly indicates that Drona and Dara are the eternal father and mother of Krishna. Whenever there is necessity of Krishna's appearance, Drona and Dara appear first, and then Krishna appears. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that his birth is not ordinary. Janma karma chami divyam. Ajopi sannavyatma bhutanam ishvaro pisan prakritim swam adishtaya sambhavam yatmavaya. Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all sentient beings, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Before Krishna's appearance, Drona and Dara appeared in order to become his father and mother. It is they who appear as Nanda Maharaj and his wife Yashoda. In other words, it is not possible for a sadhana siddha living being to become the father or mother of Krishna. For Krishna's father and mother are eternally designated. But by following the principles exhibited by Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda and their associates, the inhabitants of Vrindavan, ordinary living beings, the inhabitants of Vrindavan. Ordinary living beings may attain such affection as exhibited by Nanda and Jasoda. When Drona and Dara requested to beget children, they chose to come to this world to have the Supreme Personality of Godhead as their son, Krishna. Krishna's appearance means Paritranaya Sadhunam Vinashaya Tradiskritam. The devotees are protected and the miscreants are vanquished. Wherever Krishna comes, he distributes the highest goal of his life, devotional service. He appears as Lord Chaitanya for the same purpose, because unless one comes to devotional service, one cannot be delivered from the miseries of the material world, dukhaliyam ashasvatam. Where the living entity beings struggle for existence, the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamai vangso jiva loke jiva bhuktak sanatanam manakshastran indriyani prakritiyani starshikiti karshiti. Living being entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Because of conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with the six senses which include the mind. The living entities are struggling to become happy, but unless they take to the bhakti cult, their happiness is not possible. Krishna clearly says, Ashvadadana Purusha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Prapimam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. Those who are not faithful in the path of devotional service cannot achieve me, attain me, or conquer foes, but return to the birth and death of this material world. 9.3, Bhagavad Gita. Foolish persons do not know how risky life is here if one does not follow the instructions of Krishna. The Krishna consciousness movement, therefore, has started so that by practicing Krishna consciousness, one can avoid the risky life of this material existence. There's no question of accepting or not accepting Krishna consciousness. It is not optional. It is compulsory. If we do not take to Krishna consciousness, our life will be very risky. Therefore, it is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, everything is explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, to learn how to become free from the miserable conditions of material existence, Bhagavad Gita, as it is the preliminary study. Then if one understands Bhagavad Gita, one can proceed to srimad-bhagavatam, and one can further advance further, one may study Chaitanya Charitamrita. We're therefore presenting these invaluable books to the whole world so that people may study them and be happy, being delivered from miserable conditional life. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutaya Srimate Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Tanamane Namaste Saraswatundeve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paskadyade Satarane. There's no doubt that Prabhupada is convinced that devotional service and Krishna consciousness is the goal of life, because that's all he talks about. And to do that for 10 years, you must be convinced. Write books about it. And on the other hand, some of our questions are answered. Can we become the same level as Drona and Dara, and become Krishna's father and mother? No, we all have a relation with Krishna, but we're not Nanda Maharaj, and we're not Mother Jasoda. But we can feel the same transcendental love and ecstasy that they feel. Because that's the nature of the spiritual world, it's transparent. There's only love and ecstasy, affection, and that everyone enjoys. And in the spiritual world, there's no false prestige. One is not serving a false ego. So one is not envious that there's Mother Jasoda, Nanda Maharaj. Just like one is not envious of Krishna. Therefore, one can actually understand Bhagavad Gita when one is not envious. So when one is not envious of Mother Jasoda and Nanda Maharaj, then one can actually if that's the relationship that one has as father, mother of Krishna, then one can actually feel the transcendental love that they feel. And that will stimulate one's own love. Transcendental love doesn't come out of our heart without being stimulated with another devotee who has the same, who has transcendental love for Krishna, who is known as Ashraya. In Vibhava, the impetus for love, there are two divisions, alambana and udipana. Alambana has two aspects, Ashraya and Vishaya. Vishaya means the reservoir of love. So within the heart of a devotee, there's a reservoir of love for Krishna, and it becomes stimulated by the Ashraya or Krishna. Just like our natural conditioned life, or our conditioned life, becomes stimulated by association. We're the reservoir of conditioned life right now. And in association with others, it stimulates a certain reaction, because within ourselves is a reservoir of past activities. And that, therefore, we're seeking rasa in relationship with others, either friendship or conjugal. And also we have fear, we have compassion, we have chivalry, we have bhayatsa, wonder. So when we come in contact with others, it stimulates those feelings we have. Anything we look at out in the material world, anyone we look at, anyone we interact with, will stimulate a certain type of rasa or relationship. But in the spiritual world, where everyone has love for Krishna, everyone we come in contact stimulates that love for Krishna. There's nothing else going on there. Love for Krishna also means love for Krishna's devotees, because in the spiritual world there's no difference between Krishna and his devotees. They all have the same quality of loving feelings. Therefore, Nanda Maharaj and Jasoda, they expand themselves from the spiritual world into their demigod forms of Drona and Dara. And then they appear, Drona and Dara appear in this world, again as Mother Jasoda and Nanda Maharaj. Krishna, when Lord Brahma went to the shore of the ocean of milk, he requested the demigods, or Krishna requested the demigods, to appear on this planet to assist him in his pastimes. So that is including Drona and Dara. They came to act as Krishna's father and mother. So this goes on all the time. Brahma somehow is always coming, in some universe, is always asking Krishna's help. And the demigods are always appearing. They're, especially the demigods who are expansions of the eternal associates of Krishna and Vrindavan. Then they come down to help. And they come down in their in their original transcendental identities. And then afterwards they go back to the heavenly planets. So they're actually effectively, they're Mother Jasoda and Nanda Maharaj, expansions of them, plenary expansions of them, who appear just to act as Krishna's father and mother while he displays these pastimes. And then the portion, the demigod portion, because there's a demigod portion of them, they go back to the heavenly planets and they act as demigods. And Jasoda and Nanda Maharaj, I guess, we wouldn't say they merge back, but they're just eternally in the spiritual world. How they do it, it's quite, you have to have a lot of spiritual talent to do these things. I don't know the technique yet, but and how I learn the technique will reveal it. But we have that tendency also, we can be in more than one place at a time. Just like we're listening to class now, your body's here, but I'm not so sure where your mind is at. Maybe somewhere else. So we have that tendency to expand ourselves also and be in more than one place at a time. But they perfected the art. So what we should look forward to is becoming a servant in the spiritual world. Whatever identity is, it doesn't really make any difference in one sense, because the whole world is just full of happiness due to the transcendent loving service of so many devotees. Just like if you had a big feast and there were samosas and gulab jamins and someone brought in pizza, you wouldn't complain. I don't think so. So similarly, the spiritual world, all the identities, Shriya, Kanta, Kanta, Parama, Purusha, Kalpataruva, Druma, Bhumis, Chintamani, Gayam, Amritam, that there everyone is transcendently tasty. In other words, everyone is full of pleasure, full of love, and full of affection. And therefore, one is happy. The higher the position in the spiritual world, the more humble, the more loving they are. So no one is envious that people are higher there, because there's even more happiness and pleasure from them. One is simply trying to follow their footsteps so that one can give more pleasure and happiness to others. No one is looking for happiness and pleasure for themselves. Everyone, including Krishna, is looking for happiness and pleasure for everyone else. So everyone utilizes their abilities, their talents, their inspiration, their transcendental affection, simply to please others. And of course everyone is naturally pleased, it's an ocean of happiness, but the motivation everyone has eternally is just to please others. Just like now, although we're trying to please ourselves, we're trying to please it through ourselves through this material body. So what we're actually doing is we're following the dictations of the body. So we're still acting as servants of this body, although we imagine ourselves being served, but actually we're simply serving the demands of our senses and our mind. So in the spiritual world, we serve the demands and senses of everyone else, and that gives us happiness. Just like in the material world, when we serve the senses and mind, then we get a kind of happiness from it. So actually we're always servants. The difference is that the body and mind are dead, but in the spiritual world, the body and mind are alive. They're all spiritual. Everyone's body, mind, intelligence are all transcendently alive. There's nothing not alive in the spiritual world. And therefore there can be reciprocation, because love means reciprocation between two people. You can't love this microphone. You can like it. You can't love it. If you kiss it, unless you're on drugs or something, you won't think the microphone is kissing you back. But even you have a dog, people are imagining the dog is actually loving you. You're kissing the dog and it's licking you. Actually, the dog's trying to figure out what you taste like. Anyhow, the people are imagining they have a loving relationship with their dog. Still, there's a relationship. The dog actually has a relationship. He wants to eat you. At least he wants to find out if you're alive or not. That's why he usually licks the nose, and if you don't move, then he may figure you're dead, and then you have one less nose. But there's a relationship between all living entities, because relationship means living beings have to have a relationship. You can't have a relationship with dead matter. But people in the material world, partially, they're trying to have a relation with dead matter. That's why they're disappointed. Because how much could dead matter really reciprocate with you? It is said, punak punas charvata charvananam. Material existence means chewing the chewed. It's the same eating, same sleeping, same mating and defending. And yet we're trying to figure out how to make it different. But it's always the same. It only becomes more tasty if you refrain from doing those things. Like for instance, if you want to get more happiness, so-called happiness from sleeping, don't sleep for a while. And when you lie down to sleep, it's going to feel very good. If you want to get happiness from eating, don't eat for some time. And then when you start eating, the food tastes much more delicious. So, material happiness is simply, it's increased by not doing it, by refraining from it. Bhakti-yoga. Therefore, no one can keep on eating all day long, unless you're a hog. People have to eat for some time, then they have to not eat, and then eating becomes tasteful again. Otherwise, you keep on eating. Just like if you have a feast, sometimes they have feasts for 108 preparations. And by the 10th preparation, everything tastes about the same. So our ability to enjoy the material world is rather limited. In the spiritual world, everything is ever more blissful. But anyhow, this is theory. But by practicing devotional service, we can see that actually it's not hackneyed. Every day is a little bit different. If we're seriously practicing, every day we learn a little bit more, we experience a little bit more. So that's spiritual life. In the material world, every day it's more or less, it gets more and more dull. Therefore, they have to go to some kind of sports game where everyone else is screaming. Then they get a little alive. Otherwise, life is so dull. They have to watch TV, they have to watch people doing things, because they have no energy to do anything. But the spiritual world is not like that. One is always more and more encouraged. But whatever one is doing, it gets more and more blissful, so everyone is more and more enthusiastic to do it. And it's always fresh. Even Srimati Radharani's a little doubtful whether she's ever seen Krishna, or if she's seen him, it was only for a brief moment, although she's eternally has seen Krishna. But it's always new and fresh every time we do something there. And here it's kind of like, if it's material, not in relation to Krishna, it gets rather boring after some time. So I'll stop there. Any questions or comments? Anyone here, Drona or Dara? No. Okay, so someone brought some Mahabhavan, which is San Papri. Ever hear of San Papri? Anyhow, you have an opportunity to taste it. If you so desire, we're not going to force anyone. But if you come up, you'll get a piece of San Papri now, before it's all gone. First come, first serve. Because we only have enough for half of the devotees here. Don't be shy. These are big pieces. You won't be sorry when you taste it.
Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahadavagninirvapanam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Divyabadhujivanam Anandam Buddhivardhanam Pratipadam Purnam Ritasvadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtana Namnam Makari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrarpita Niyamita Smaranena Kala Etadrishi Tava Kripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishamiha Jaminanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tadoriva Sahishnuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadhanam Najanam Nasundari Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamaye Mama Janmani Janmanishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Ahaituki Tvayi Ayi Nandatanu Jaginkarang Patitang Mang Vishame Bhavam Buddha